You are overlooked because you have no idea how sexual obsession works in a woman's mind. Your presence dissolves into air, not because you lack value, but because you never learned the language of longing. Every time you explain yourself instead of letting silence do the work, you teach her to overlook you. This isn't about tricks or manipulation. It is about awakening, about reclaiming what men of old knew, that attraction is born not from chasing, but from being. Goodbye to the endless kneeling before her validation. Goodbye to the hollow smile of approval seeking. This is about commanding obsession through primal, sovereign energy. Picture a boardroom where everyone is talking loudly, yet the man who speaks slowly, sparingly from his chest, is the one they all turn to hear. That's how you must enter her life. Not as a noise in her ear, but as the silence that bends her attention. Ask yourself, how many times have you let your presence evaporate by giving too much too soon? And how many times will you repeat it before you decide to step into the role of the man she cannot ignore? Being available feels safe, but safe breeds invisibility. Every time you answer too quickly, you erase a fragment of mystery. Every time you say yes before she has even finished asking, you diminish the electricity she craves. Desire doesn't grow in the comfort zone. It starves there. It blossoms only in tension, in distance, in the pull of the unknown. When you're always there, texting, inviting, ready, you become a fixture, not a fantasy. And once you're a fixture, she stops seeing you. Picture the lamp in your bedroom, always there, always on, dependable, but invisible to your mind. That is the fate of men who confuse safety with magnetism. Mystery evaporates, and with it, the raw magnetism of possibility. Ask yourself, how many times have you given her your attention for free without her earning it? How many times have you chosen predictability over power? Each time, you carve yourself deeper into the role of the comfortable friend. And comfort is the death of obsession. True attraction is forged in the crucible of curiosity and challenge. Every time you make her wonder, you ignite a spark. Every time you refuse to be fully revealed, you add fuel to the fire. You must become the question she's desperate to answer, the puzzle that refuses to give all its pieces at once. With you, she's always balancing on the edge of what's next, always leaning forward, never resting back. She needs to earn your presence, because what is freely given loses its value. Let conversations breathe. Let silence stretch. Each pause is a test. Each delay is a lesson. When she leans back to fill that silence, she's already thinking of you, already trapped in the tension. Think of a stage play where the audience holds its breath for the actor's next word. That silence is not empty. It is alive, charged, unforgettable. Ask yourself, how often have you robbed yourself of power by rushing to fill the silence? And how powerful would you become if you allowed her imagination to work harder than your words? It's never about toxicity. It's about intensity. Every time she feels resisted, every time she feels uncertain, every time she feels challenged, her emotions ignite. That so-called bad choice excites her because he resists her, frustrates her, forces her to feel alive. That emotional dissonance is addicting, like a song that plays in her head long after the music has stopped. Your task is to offer that same flicker of uncertainty without destruction, to make her feel unsettled, lost in thought, unable to categorize you, yet drawn closer with each unanswered question. Picture her scrolling late at night, replaying a brief exchange where you didn't give her the full answer, only a smile. Imagine her lying awake, frustrated and fascinated, trying to piece together who you are. How many times have you handed away your mystery in the name of being clear, being nice, being predictable? And how many times will you choose instead to let her imagination chase you into obsession? Words are only carriers. Energy is the true message. Every time you speak too fast, you strip away gravity. Every time you let nerves control your tone, you surrender your presence. Lower your tone. Slow your rhythm. Let each word fall like iron into silence, as if the pause itself is more powerful than the sound. Look at her like you're reading her soul, then look away with calm knowing, as though you know something she doesn't and never will fully grasp. When you say, "Interesting," she hears volumes, because it is not the word, it is the weight beneath it. When you let silence linger, she imagines the unspoken, and imagination always paints in sharper colors than reality. Think of the monk who speaks once a day, yet every ear leans forward to catch it. Think of the leader at a crowded table who says less, but owns the room. That same energy lives in you if you stop rushing to prove yourself. Ask yourself, how many times have you drowned your own power in nervous chatter? And how unstoppable would you become if your silence could do the speaking for you? Desire isn't born in availability. It thrives in absence. Every time you rush to be present, you cheapen your presence. Every time you place her above your mission, you dilute your power. Live a life so full, so consumed with pursuit, that she only catches glimpses of you between battles fought and victories claimed. She must feel your world is complete, with or without her, unshaken by her absence, undistracted by her silence. That's when being with you becomes a privilege, not an entitlement. Think of the king whose throne is surrounded by courtiers longing for his attention. The fewer words he speaks, the more sacred they become. Ask yourself, how many times have you given up your crown by being too easy to reach? And how much stronger would you stand if she had to climb to earn the light of your presence? Monotony kills intrigue. Every time you show up the same, you dull her hunger. Every time you repeat the same joke, the same routine, the same rhythm, you teach her that she already has you figured out. One moment you must be the silent guardian, still as stone. The next, the playful storm, unpredictable and alive. Calm, then fire. Presence, then distance. Each shift is a strike of lightning in her mind, keeping her on edge, never certain what's next. This contrast traps her thoughts in a loop she cannot escape. She doesn't just crave your presence. She craves the unveiling of the mask, the discovery of what else might lie beneath. Think of a novel that reveals only one page at a time. She keeps turning because she must know. Ask yourself, how often have you betrayed your own mystery by being the same man every time she sees you? And how much more unforgettable would you become if you forced her imagination to keep writing the story of who you are? Physicality is punctuation, not the sentence. Every time you rush to touch her, you rob the moment of its gravity. Every time you lean in too quickly, you teach her that your touch is cheap, expected, ordinary. Let her desire mature before you close the distance. A brush of your hand, a lingering palm, the smallest gestures become metaphors that replay in her mind for days. Let her lean in first. Let her test the distance. Let her hunger grow in the space between. Touch should feel inevitable, like a prophecy fulfilled, like a story written long before either of you arrived. Think of a candle waiting to be lit. The spark means nothing if the wick is wet. Wait until it's dry with tension, and then ignite. Ask yourself, how many times have you ruined the fire by lighting it too soon? And how much power would you hold if you mastered the art of waiting until she cannot stand the distance any longer? Desire is never surrendered to the perfectionist. Every time you polish yourself into something flawless, you erase the raw power of presence. Every time you bend to please, you break the spell. It's not given to the man who chases. It's given to the sovereign, the one who stands firm in his own ground. It's not about approval. It's about presence. Masculine energy is not loud, but undeniable. Not frantic, but steady, like the mountain that outlasts the storm. A man who doesn't flinch, who doesn't chase, who doesn't bend. That man is remembered, not because he shouted, but because his silence carried more weight than noise. Think of the warrior in the hall, saying little, but commanding every gaze. Think of the father who needs no speech to set the tone of the room. He is carved into her psyche, not through effort, but through gravity. Ask yourself, how many times have you tried to be impressive when all you needed was to be immovable? Obsession blooms in memory. Every time you withdraw, you plant a seed. Every time you hold your silence, you leave an echo she cannot erase. She remembers the weight of your gaze, the resonance of your voice, the stillness that spoke louder than words. Even in another man's arms, she will compare, and they will always fall short because they do not carry the same gravity. You don't need to chase. You don't need to plead. You don't need to convince. You need only to be. Walk with conviction again and again, and she will return, not because you called, but because the pull of who you are is stronger than her will to resist. Ask yourself, how many times have you made yourself forgettable by chasing when your true power was in being unforgettable without effort?